Secretary of State just warned that we might be going into another civil war. Look.
It's time for the people of the civilized world to defend ourselves, to stand united against this encroaching darkness and fight for what is ours. It is easy to destroy great things. It is far more difficult to make them. The enemies of civilization are only capable of the former. They are only capable of destroying great things. All they know is destruction. But we have built great things together. We have done it time and again. We know what we must do, and now we must do it.
Well, these are the critical questions of our time that you're asking, Andy, and everybody has an answer. Unfortunately, I think most everybody is wrong because everybody wants to continue to use the military to reinforce what they think is America's global military hegemony. You know, I hear all the time, well, the empire is dying. America's empire is crumbling. Well, we don't have an empire. We never did. What they're talking about is American military hegemony and American financial hegemony. Those things are very definitely crumbling. Now, on the financial side, this has been underway for some time because we weaponized our financial system to harm others.
Right.
If you do this enough through sanctions and other means, if you take money away from people that is not yours to take, we did that to the Russians with hundreds of billions of dollars. We've done it with the Iranians and so forth at the behest of the Israelis. When you do these kinds of things, people say, well, you know, perhaps we need a new system. Let's build our own. And effectively, I think that's underway. It's called BRICS. And the SWIFT system that we've utilized for, well, I guess now, 75 years or something in that neighborhood. There's a Chinese version now, which is actually, from what I'm told, easier to use and more effective and efficient. Gee, what a surprise. You know, who would have thought? But
Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai Barakatham. To the sincere Akim, noiseless gospel abroad, keeping the faith, diligence, and testimony of our Lord Yahushai, occupying in the prophecies until our Lord come. And to the few sincere Akwath that listen and learn as well, to you I say Shalom. So all hell is breaking loose on the earth, and it's about to get to the next level. See? And I mentioned in yesterday's lesson that now that the bread and circus is over, meaning the World Cup and basically like all the summer festivities, you know, you see gas prices are going back up. You see the inflation is shooting back up as well, you know. So for that, month period, they kind of created like an illusion that things were kind of dying down, getting back to normal. But now that everything is now coming back into reality, you starting to see that it was all a facade. You know, you starting to see that no, gas prices weren't going down because the war was over. You know, that jobs were still continuing to be lost. That they were still accelerating forth with the agenda, man. You know, and we're at the point to where these devils, you know, as it says in Revelation 12 and verse 12, that the devil shall come unto you having great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So these devils, they know, all right? They know, they can see it, they can feel it, you know? The spirit in the earth, there's a transition that's going on right now, you know, to where the Edomites, they're going down and Jacob's coming up. And you have a lot more people now starting to acknowledge the true Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? I've been seeing a lot of videos on TikTok recently of, you know, heathens, you know, coming out and just saying the truth, man. You know, basically agreeing, you know, with the doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Confessing who we are. And see, that's a sign right there that Esau's done. That's a sign right there that his kingdom is over with, you know? Because like I said, there's a spiritual shift, and you can really feel it, man. Like, there's a different frequency that's within the earth, and that vibration is being spearheaded by the prophets of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. So being that the spirit, the vibration in the earth is changing, this is why you're seeing things rapidly deteriorate. This is why you're seeing Babylon the Great rapidly deteriorate. All right, and it's all the will of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Now, all right, you heard in that first clip Marco Rubio talking, all right, and you have to watch. You have to really key into what these devils are saying, man, because they speak real cryptic, man. Okay, which is the characteristic of a serpent. All right, they're very crafty. All right, but basically, in so many words, he's saying that we must defend our civilization. We must go to war against those that are against us. Okay, which we know on the surface level, talking about Iran and the enemies of Babylon the Great, right? But also they've already spoken about, Trump himself. They've spoken about the enemy from within. Okay, and that's why now they pushing out all this anti-fascist propaganda, which they're trying to say those that are anti-fascist, that you're basically an enemy of the state. All right, you had the bill C-19 passed in Canada, I believe last week or something like that, to where now that's active. So that persecution is coming down the pike. So these devils, what they're getting ready to do is they're getting ready to make war on more than one front. Okay, war overseas and wars right here at home, man. All right, so things are about to get to another level in which people ain't ready for, people have never seen. All right, and listening to Douglas McGregor, all right, Colonel Douglas McGregor, you can just look at him and see that he's through. You can just look at him and he knows that it's all over. All right, these Edomites, man. Hey, look, this is gonna be the biggest fall in the history of mankind when these Edomites go down. Because Babylon the Great, Esau, this was the mightiest kingdom, to ever exist on the earth. The scriptures call Babylon the Great under the rule of Esau the hammer of the whole earth. So they subdued all the nations through the means of war, deception, bloodshed. All right, using diabolical, high-tech weapons. Okay, that's the legacy of the Edomites: steal, kill, destroy. Okay, rape, rob, murder. You see, and now that that wicked history is now being addressed, and this is why now you have so much information coming out on these Edomites, exposing them on every level. Okay, bringing out the truth of the matter, and they can't take it. So this is why, very soon, already a lot of these Edomites about to be looking like Douglas McGregor, man. All right, through. So now, all right, when you tap into full spectrum survival, okay, the streets of Babylon the Great, America, are about to be ground zero for civil war. All right, seditions against the government, neighbor rising up against neighbor, households being divided. And the scriptures speak about in the book of 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, that in the last days, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So we live in a very wicked, evil time. All right, to where the love of many is already at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? People are ready to crash out for the smallest inconvenience. You see, there was an incident I saw, just scrolling, to where I think it was this 20-year-old Jake. He got caught in this 13-year-old girl's house, and the mother came home, caught him, and put him to death. All right, so that's the time that we living in. You know what I'm saying? To where people, they gonna shoot first and they're not gonna ask no questions. And you know what? We coming into a time where it's not gonna be 911. It's not gonna be any help that's gonna come to save you from what's coming. All right? And you know, once the lights go out, because that's about to happen too. You know, what's going on out there in Cuba, that's about to happen here in America, Babylon the Great. So when the lights go out, when there's no food, the water now is contaminated. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people are coming down with explosive diarrhea, because the water supply is being tainted due to these data centers and you know, Bill Gates, all right, controls the U.S. water supply, you know, controls the agriculture. So you have a lot going on, all right? These devils have declared war on creation itself. So we're in a time like no other, Jacob's trouble. Okay, we're in the midst of tribulation right now. And see, this is why we speak about having faith so much and calling on the names of Yahweh Bashmel Shah, because as we always say, if you ain't got the Lord with you in the times we coming into, you ain't gonna make it. All right, you're gonna be dog food out here, you know. So you better know what you're involved in. You better you know the names to call on, and you better be exercising faith, you know, because you're gonna have to believe on a whole nother level in this time to even be sane. Okay, by the things that you're gonna be seeing, by the things you're gonna be hearing about. You know, because you're going to be hearing about a lot of wicked acts, you know. Oh, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? You know, she ate her baby, or, you know, Mr. Kevin that lived down the road, you know, he ran up in somebody's house and he robbed it. Hey, you're going to be hearing all kind of stuff, man. That's the time we coming into. No mercy, no pity, you know, and we'll get scriptures to, you know, back these things up, because all these things are written to happen, and these things must happen for the end to come. See, this is why the scriptures say in Matthew 24th chapter that he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. So this is the time in which you got to endure. Remember, all right, the hopeful elect of Yahweh Bashmel Shai are going to be as gold that is tried in the fire. See? So the Lord is going to put us through the fire to refine us, to burn out all the impurities, so that when we come out, we're going to be that pure gold. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to be. You know what I'm saying? We want to be that pure gold. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to undergo that trial of faith. And only those that endure, those are going to stand strong, because also the MOTB is coming as well. That's going to be another major trial. You know what it speaks about in Revelation 3 and 10, the hour of temptation. See, all these things are coming. All right, so we're going to go ahead and tap into this video from Full Spectrum Survival. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying.
Inside of the United States of America, we are about to experience a cataclysmic breakdown in the rule of law. The rule of law is a political weapon. It does not deserve the power that it has been given. Officially, the rule of law meant that everyone in a country was equal before the law. What happens when a country still has courts, they have police, judges, elections, and laws, but people no longer believe that those rules are applied equally? You can already see that inside of our country, that we are in the early stages of a breakdown. Soon the rule of law will be dead and over. It's one of those phrases that everyone repeats because it sounds important or even civilized. Politicians say it, judges, international criminal courts. Nobody stops to think or even ask what happens when that social contract dies.
And see, right now, you know, the elites, they're squeezing the people, all right? And people are at the point to where they're being pushed to the point of which they, you know, they're not going to care no more. You know, the people are being pushed to the point to where working hard doesn't get the job done. Okay, trying to save money doesn't get the job done. Being a law-abiding citizen, people are gonna finally figure it out that doesn't get you anywhere. Okay, because they're looking at the elites. They're looking at you know, Elon Musk. Now he's a trillionaire. You know, they're looking at the fact of, oh, you know, Trump, he doesn't pay taxes. Elon Musk, they don't pay taxes. So if this is America, right, and we're all supposed to be under the same rule of law, why is there a separate law for them and then there's a certain law for us? You see, and the reason why that is because you're a slave to the elites, all right? You work for them. The elites don't punch no clock. They don't work a 9 to 5. You see? They don't have to pay for groceries. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that peasants do. You see? But because you may make a little 6 figures, or, you know, you may be one of the few that may have made it to be a millionaire. Do you know how much money that these elites are playing with, man? These elites are playing with multi-trillions, okay, multi-quadrillions. Like their wealth is really immeasurable. Okay? That's what we're talking about for them. They have so much money that they can't even spend it in one lifetime. And this is why they invest their money to do so much evil and wickedness on the earth, man, because they are the wicked. Okay? They are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Because instead of, you would think someone that has all this money and access to resources, that they would use it to benefit the earth. But no. See, that's how you know that the wicked is in power. And it says in Proverbs 29, right, that when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And right now on the earth, everyone is mourning. And that's why everyone is being pushed towards this mindset of effort. You know, we going to take matters into our own hands because the people that rule over us, they don't give a shit. And they've never gave a shit. Okay? And as we talk about, it's about to be Bacon's Rebellion 2.0. You see, Bacon's Rebellion 2.0 is right around the corner. See, because again, people are being pushed to the breaking point. Now, let's get a scripture. All right, let's go 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. You know, 2nd Ezra 15, and check this out. All right, because you know this place Babylon the Great is being plagued, man, greatly. You know, you have all kind of tornadoes and, you know, flash floods, major heat, you know, people losing their job, people, you know what I'm saying, not being able to afford food. These are all plagues from Yahweh Shemel Shah. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is breaking this place down. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, a sword is an instrument used to kill. All right, you don't go to war with a with a butter knife. Okay, in ancient times, men went to war with swords and shields. Well, the modern day equivalent of the sword and shield would be the firearm. Okay, AK-47, 9mm. You know, Desert Eagle. You know what I'm saying? These are, you know, what people use to kill and, you know, inflict harm now. Okay? And in America, all right, most of these people that you see walking around are strapped, you know, and have multiple guns on them. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. See? So there's going to be sedition. There's going to be rebellions, uprisings, you know. You already seeing protests happen in the streets. But you see, very soon people are going to realize, hey, you know what? Marching and protesting, that's not going to get the job done. Because all this marching and protesting that we've been doing, and you know, they're still moving forward. So now we got to get violent. Okay? And that's why, you know, it says invading. So there's going to be invasions. Okay, it's going to be home invasions, all right? People going to be busting up inside the courthouse. You know, they going to start coming for these judges and you know, mayors and, you know, high-level politicians, man, all right? It's about to be the heads of these politicians on the stake. And guess what? They're going to be the sacrifices for the elites because they just work for the corporation, all right? The elites really don't give a damn about Trump. They don't give a damn about, you know, your local governor, mayor, none of these people, man. They just put them out there as talking heads for, you know, those that run the corporation, which are the elites, all right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, just to name a few families. But that's who really run the show. Okay, Trump, he don't run nothing. You know what I'm saying? They just put him up there, and really Trump is a clown. Trump is a damn TV personality, man. And they put this nigga up as the president of the United States, and he's supposed to be taken seriously. Showing you how stupid that these Americans are. All right, and every 4 years, this country's on the brink of collapse, and it's like, when the Republican gets in, and the Republicans start messing up. We need to get the Democrats in, and the Democrats mess up. Now we need to put the Republicans back. It's the same shit every 4 years, and guess what? It's always the same outcome. Nothing ever gets better for you. You see? But people still believe in this system of voting and, we can make it better and this is going to work. No, man. Okay, but now the Lord is starting to lift that veil. Okay, people are starting to see, wait a minute, this shit is all a scam. Here it is, people busting their ass, working hard as hell, 2-3 jobs, and still can't even put a roof over their head, man. What kind of life is that? So that's why people are about to, as we'll read, where was I at? Yeah, it says here, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. All right, the kings or princes are the rulers of the society. Like I said, the governor, the mayor, the president, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So again, they're going to take matters into their own hands. All right, because those that rule over them are not doing nothing for them. So people are going to rob, they're going to steal, they're going to kill, they're going to do what they have to do to survive. All right, and this is the type of scenario that these elites want, because they want to crash Babylon the Great, man. Because why? They want to reset. So this reset is about to come with a lot of sacrifice, man. And see, one thing, if you study the elites and how they do with their left hand occult practices, before they usher in something new, there always has to be a sacrifice. Okay, when you look at 1776, right, when they officially established America, what was going on around that time? The Revolutionary War, right, where there was a lot of bloodshed. Okay, you had the American Indian Wars that were going on during that time. You had a lot of wars, man. A lot of blood was being shed, and from the from the blood, from the chaos came this new nation, America, Babylon the Great. So it's about to be the same thing again. Okay, the same thing with you look at World War One. That was another big sacrifice. World War II, same thing. Out of World War II, you had what? The New Deal. Okay, you had Social Security. They built the projects. They built all these interstate highways. So every time that these devils move in to a new era, it always comes with a blood sacrifice, man. You see? That's how these devils get down. So they want the chaos. They want the anarchy. You see? And this is why they trying to stoke this race war as well. They putting all this Esau against Jake and all this, which that is happening, but at the same time they're blowing it up to the point to where it's like, now there's like a racial tension in the air. Okay, to where you have the minds of the people being set one against another, when really it's the elites, okay, that are really screwing everybody over, man. And see, they don't want that Bacon's Rebellion, but it's going to happen anyway because it's prophecy. Okay? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see? So lack of bread, famine, which that's being set up right now, and for great tribulation. Okay, people not having jobs, people not having a roof over their head, people not being able to actually live. Okay, great tribulation. This is what's going to cause people to rise up against one another with the sword. This is what's going to cause people, this is what's going to cause the love of many to wax cold. You understand? So this is what Full Spectrum Survival is going into in this video. All right, the people have reached the breaking point, and it's only a matter of time.
We're seeing it right now. The law is supposed to stand above the rich, even above the poor, politicians, cops, judges, and shoot, it's supposed to be a law governed above the government itself. The U.S. Constitution establishes a government whose authority comes from the people and not against them. It's supposed to be difficult enough to change that whoever controls the government can't just rewrite the rules to punish who they hate and benefit who they party with. At least that's the sales pitch. But when you really watch how our country operates, I'm seeing something very different. We're dead. As a law-based nation, we are dead. Laws selectively enforce the beneficiary. The officials get protected and citizens are being crushed over technical violations. This is while the government changes the definition. And they do it when the old rules start to lessen either their money or their power. Let me tell you, next year is going to suck. If you think that the old draconian laws of the early to mid 2000s were bad, just wait until every glance that you use on...
You see, and he brought up the word draconian, all right, which when you tap into that, draconian, all right, draconian, this is the definition, exceedingly harsh, very severe, pertaining to Draco, a famous lawgiver of Athens, right? So Draco, which was an ancient Greek lawgiver, right? He was known, all right, he was renowned for his exceedingly harsh and very severe law code, okay, which that's what we coming into now again, all right? So Draco, he was the type, you know what I'm saying, if you get caught jaywalking, all right, nigga, deaf, okay? You get caught stealing the apple, deaf. You see, for the minor, for the minutest infraction of the law, he pretty much prescribed death. You see, so that that's what we coming into now. This is why they passing laws on the books to say, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. Freedom of speech is, hey, look, freedom of speech is gone. All right, we in a time now where, hey, if you speak out against what they're doing in any form, you see, they gonna come for your ass, man. All right. If you express any type of what's the word I'm looking for? If you express any kind of disapproval for what the elites are bringing down the pipe, they're gonna throw you in a concentration camp. You know, they're gonna put you on the guillotine. You know, they're gonna put you up in a firing squad. You know. And I actually had a dream some years ago to where it was me and another brother. We were actually in a camp, you know, and I remember this dream vividly, you know, to where, you know, me and the brother, you know, we were sitting at like, you know how they got those tables like on the prison yard, you know, like we were sitting at one of those tables. And I remember looking up into the sky and I told the brother, I'm like, yo, wait, you know, like, when you think Yahweh Shemel Shai gonna get us up out of here? And he kind of looked at me and was like, man, I hope you get us up out of here soon, because, you know, we, you know, in the spirit, in the dream, I kind of had it feeling like, damn, you know, they about to put us to death soon, you know, so hopefully the Lord, you know, do something to get us up out of here, man. And sure enough, I remember looking to the left of me, and like there was a big, you know, barbed wire retracting gate, and the gate opened up. And it was like a huge, like big green tank that came through the gate. Soldiers was on top, and it came through the gate. And I just remember looking at it like, damn, that's a big ass tank. You know, I wonder what they about to do with that. So I'm just looking at the tank for a minute, and then I don't know, like it kind of vague a little bit, but it kind of got to the part where me and the brother, you know, like once the tank went past, we ended up climbing over the fence some way, somehow. You know, it was a tall barbed wire fence, but me and the brother ended up climbing over the fence, and you know, we got up out of there. You know, then the dream ended. You know, but you know, I remember in that dream that, you know, the Lord made a way for us to get up out of there, man. You know, so, but just to have that in mind that, hey, look, some of us are going to be in these camps. You know, some of us are going to be put into these situations. But, you know, you have to be in the mindset that, hey, you know, the Lord can get you out of this. You know what I'm saying? That you got to endure whatever, man. You know, because even in that dream, I had the mindset, you know, me and the brother had the mindset like, yo, the Lord going to get us up out of here. And sure enough, the Lord did allow us to get up out of there. You know, and from what I recall in that dream, there was a lot of people that was up in that camp with us, man. You know, but me and the brother, we were kind of like to the side, kind of away from everybody else. But I remember seeing that there was a lot of people that was up in that camp, man. You know, so we coming into a time to where these things are about to become reality. All right. So again, let's get that Revelation. Because the dragon is rough, all right? Because he know that he about to lose, you know? Revelation 12 and verse 12, and it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. See? So the devil, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's about to come down. He's coming down, should I say, with great wrath on the earth. This is why there's war everywhere. All right. He's poisoning the air. He's poisoning the food. He's poisoning the water. You see, this man is bringing about robot dogs. Okay. Robot soldiers. You see, he's going to cut you off from praising Yahweh Bashmel Shai. All right, he's passing draconian laws and decrees to justify himself coming down with his wickedness, man. This is the time we in. Yeah. In verse, get straight to the point. Verse 16, matter of fact, yeah, it was read 15. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman. Now the woman represented the 12 tribes of Israel, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And when you read in Isaiah 59, it says that when the enemy shall come in like a flood. Okay, so Esau, he gonna come in with great force, with great numbers. Okay, with great violence. You see, to cause the 12 tribes of Israel to be carried away, to be destroyed. But what's gonna happen? Verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. And it's no marvel that you can see that Esau, he is definitely at war, okay, with you tribes, man. All right, that's very plain to see, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So that's pertaining to the elect, okay, those that actually have the faith and testimony of Yahweh Bashmel Shai, okay, because 2/3 are going to be done away with, man. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord is going to keep his grape of the cluster, you see? Also, Daniel 12 and 1. Daniel 12 in verse 1, the time of the end, which is right now that we in. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. See? So it's going to get so bad on the earth to where the archangel Michael, okay, which is over the children of Israel, man, hey, you gonna have to stand up against this devil, man. That's how bad that it's about to get out here on the earth. And that's why I say in Matthew 24 as well, that if it were not for the sake of the elect, that no flesh will be saved. Because this devil, he about to go all out, man. Okay, he's about to go all out because, again, as we read Revelation 12, he knows that he has a short time. Okay, he knows it. He can feel it. So rather than just let Jacob, all right, inherit the earth all in one piece, this devil going to destroy it. And that's currently what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Also, Isaiah 19. Just hit these. We'll get back to the video. Message to Egypt. Okay, which modern day Egypt is America, Babylon the Great. All right. Isaiah 19 and verse 2. And it reads, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And that echoes what we read in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. See that? Verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, which we believe through the spirit is DJT, Donald Trump. And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. All right, so this is where we at. This is why people are crying out, because these draconian laws are coming down, and they're seeing that the rule of law, as they knew it, is over with. All right, so now the average American citizen is the enemy. Okay? If you profess that what's going on in Gaza is wrong, and this is also part of why they have now merged the American military and the IDF. Okay, so now if you speak against what the IDF is doing by default, you're speaking against America. So they can just use that and say, oh, well, you're an enemy of the state, right? You know, you don't agree with what's going on in Gaza. You don't agree with our war against Iran. You don't agree with our narrative. Well, hey, we're going to put you in this camp, you know, or we just going to straight up put you to death. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, some very, very hard times, very draconian times, very evil, wicked times, man, are on the earth.
Your phone or down the street becomes scrutinized by an algorithm. We're looking at burning courthouse territory here. Police stations getting abandoned. And like in much of the world, from the Taliban to South America, gangs will begin to control entire regions. It already started, and that's scary. People stopped believing that following the rules will protect them. We already see it right now. Small business owners, they're told to watch as thieves walk out of their store without consequence. But the business owner, well, he's penalized with fines over a missing permit. Homeowners are put into prison. I'm talking don't drop the soap, somebody's girlfriend prison, if they choose to defend their property or their life. And the people trespassing, they have more legal protection than the homeowner does. The social contract underneath what you grew up with is already dead.
You know, and this is a prime example that the earth needs new rulership, man. Okay? This is a prime example that the earth is in need of a righteous reset. Because everything that's going on here is just out of order, man. Okay? Trespassers, they get more protection under the law than somebody who actually owns the home. You know? Somebody trying to do violence to you and you end up putting them in the spirit world, you will be the one that go to jail. You see? So this is a completely backward society, and this is under the watch of who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You know? It's not Jake that's running the show. This is under the rule of Esau. So this shows you that Esau, he's not fit to rule, because even his own subjects are crying out against him. Okay, even his own Edomite kind, all right, are ready to put the sword to this nigga, man. See? Showing you that Esau, he was never, see, this is why the Lord did not give everlasting dominion to Esau, because this is what it would be for eternity, man. You know, just straight up hell on the earth. It tell you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that his desire is as hell. You know? So there's a reason why the Lord do what he do, man. Because Esau, he's not a wise and prudent ruler. He's not a righteous ruler. Okay, he's the wicked that the Bible speak of. And this is why there's nothing but confusion, pain, suffering, you know, just chaos on the earth, man. Because the man that's ruling, this is what he promotes. Now, let's jump here Check this out. Go get water. Iran-U.S. war infrastructure attacks. And apparently now 100,000 U.S. troops have been mobilized to go into Iran. So this lets you know that they about to do a ground invasion. So also on top of everything else that's going on, there's about to be a military draft. You see? And this is why they're causing the food scarcity. You know what I'm saying? This is why they're about to go lights out, because they about to just start grabbing people up. All right? And they're going to put the conscription, the draft in place. You see? And that's going to be a way out for a lot of people to get away from the chaos, to get away from the purging that's going to be happening in Babylon the Great. All right? So these devils know exactly what they're doing. But let's tap into this.
I've got thousands of gallons of water sitting behind me. This pool costs around $199.
And see,
For
also, I know I keep stopping it, but what these Edomites don't understand is that, bro, the water, they gonna come for that water. All right? They gonna, like, literally just went into the lesson yesterday that, you know, they're coming for your water. Okay, so if you have a private well, you know, if you have anything remotely similar to what Full Spectrum Survival has, all right, like he said he got, 200-gallon tub of water or whatever the case is, right? They got drones, okay, they got the Palantir, that they're going to be sky, because they know that there's people out there that have homesteads and they have stuff put away, you see? So they're going to be using those drones, the Palantir, to find out where people are at and how much they have. And if they see that, you know, you got a homestead and you got some stuff, hey, they gonna come for your ass, all right? And they gonna come with force, you see. So that's not the way, all right? The way, well, not for him because he's an Edomite, you know, but for you Jakes out there, you know, for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the answer is to repent, is to come back to Yahweh Bashmiel Shah, because there's nothing carnal that you can do to ride this time out. Having a farm, having a homestead, like, do you not see what's going on with all this weather? The Lord's bringing judgment on the earth, man. Hailstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, drought, flooding. You see? So judgment is coming on the earth, and the Lord did say that he would destroy even the beasts of the field. So you're not going to be able to depend on anything carnal in this time, man. Okay, we're going to have to lean 100% on Yahweh Bashmiel Shai to make it through this time. Cause see, but see, for these Edomites, for these other nations, this is all they have. Okay, this is all they have to hope in, because, all right, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is not with them. You know, but hey, we have a greater hope, you know, and we know, you know, that, hey, our power is going to be with us through these times. You know what I'm saying? That's our sincere hope. You know, we just pray that we maintain the faith and that we stay on the straight and narrow path, because, hey, your faith is about to be tested.
$199, you can have thousands of water available to you. If you don't have a filtration system and an ability to shock it, you better get it. Now behind that, I have, of course, a garden that needs some weeding because of our really beautiful soil here. But let me tell you, your water is going to be attacked. Earlier, we talked about the unspoken rule of war. If you don't attack our general infrastructure for the civilian population, we will not attack your infrastructure of civilian population. That rule has been over. Now they're starting to attack power companies. They're attacking cellular, attacking GPS. Nothing is off limits anymore. The United States of America and Iran have now entered into a cycle of attack and retaliation. American forces completed their 9th now consecutive night of strikes inside of Iran. Tehran is launching additional missiles, not just for the USA, but now with what Khamenei said. That's their supreme leader, who Pakistan says, and some other countries, Saudi Arabia, I think it is. They say Khamenei is not even inside of Iran. Khamenei is potentially near fatally injured in another country. So if the leader of a country won't even stay inside of that nation, what do you think's about to happen? They believe that the U.S. may drop a nuclear weapon. Because America's done it before. All we needed to prove to the world was that there was a global threat. Now we have Spain and we have some other countries right now who are saying, we believed you once before and then we got dragged into a longer event. It's different this time. If they can say that this country has nuclear weapons capabilities, the ability to wipe another country off the face of the earth, and if America can prove to enough of their allies in their corner that this country is a threat to them, then they will give the green light to use an atomic weapon. So why is Khamenei not in the country? That might be why. U.S. Central Command said that the operation that America ran, the most recent one, lasted over 5 hours. It targeted coastal surveillance systems, air defense, maritime capabilities, missile and drones, and direct members and sympathizers of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. So now they're talking about not just hitting military sites, but sympathizer groups inside of the country. Let me tell you something. In America, if you have a flag, an American flag, and it's presented the way that it's supposed to be, you would be considered a sympathizer of the United States of America. And so when I see Khamenei and other Iranian leadership say that it's now going to hit American shores, everybody flying an American flag is a sympathizer. Everybody who has a pro-Republican insignia on their vehicle is a sympathizer. And if you think for one moment that the operators that are inside of this country do not look at those things, and if you don't think that they have a list of that somewhere, you're missing the beat. So the American strikes, one in particular, began at 6 p.m., ended approximately 11:30 p.m. Donald Trump reportedly pushed these strikes in response to the Iranian drone and missile attacks that took out U.S. service members. Iran answered with another round of operations. CENTCOM said that 50,000 people are engaged in this right now, and we're about to drop another 50,000 inside of the Middle East. Now, you don't build up...
See that? So right now, they say there's approximately 50,000 troops already involved over there. So, since they've began the fighting again, all right, 50,000, and they about to send another 50,000 over there. And guess what? They ain't coming back. Okay? If you being sent over to that region right now, you ain't coming back. All right? You gonna be topsoil over there. Understand? So again, we are in that time to where there's no going back. It speaks about in Joel 3, all right, to wake up the mighty men, okay, prepare the nations for war. Yahweh Shai said, in the last days you shall, see wars, hear rumors of wars, nation rising against nation. See, all these things are coming into effect. Also amongst these nations, you're about to see a lot of betrayal as well. And it's all going to be over the small hats, okay? You're going to have NATO breakup, NATO disband, You're going to have... pursuant to Revelation 17 and 16, you're going to have the beast hate the whore. All right? The beast is modern day NATO and the EU, with America, all right, being the whore and the head of NATO and the EU. So those European vassals, those European states, they're going to turn away from America and, matter of fact, let's just get it. All right? Because all this is prophecy, man. Revelation 17. In verse 16, and the 10 horns, right, referring to the so-called European states, all right, the vassals of America, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. How are they going to burn her with fire? Well, it's going to come a time to where they're going to realize that, okay, the common denominator between everybody's problems are the small hats in Babylon the Great, the hammer of the whole earth. So they're going to turn away from America and they're going to shoot their nukes, okay, over to this land. And this is going to be that proverbial, lake of fire, okay? Verse 17, and they're going to do this because for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh Bashmi Shai shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, America. See? So everything is falling into place just as the Lord said that it would. All right? So this is, really just a further exhortation to, for you sincere Akim wa Akwat out there, that playtime is over. Okay? You see the seriousness, all right, on these Edomites' face, all right? We in a time where nobody's smiling, okay? Everything is going downhill pretty fast. So fast, in fact, that, people are perplexed. When it speaks about that in Luke 21st chapter, that, upon the earth there shall be perplexity, for because people are going to be seeing the things that are going on. It's going to be like, oh, shit, what do we do? Like, why is this happening? Because if you're not paying attention to prophecy, if the Holy Spirit is not upon you, you're not going to understand what's going on. And this is part of what gives us comfort, as it is written that what wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of that time. So this is what's making us stable. That's why we can talk about these things and not be all bugged out, because we know these things must happen. These things must needs be for the end to come. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson's been edifying through Rakah Kadash. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakah Kadash. Until next time, shalom to the elect. Kwam Yasha Allah wa Bible. On to the next one.